has a dream but feels stuck, if you are facing obstacles that seem overwhelming, or if you just need a dose of motivation to keep pushing forward, then you are in the right place. So buckle up, dreamers. Anchor Your Dreams is not just a podcast. It's a community of dreamers supporting dreamers, women supporting women. Subscribe, follow along, and let's navigate the seas of ambition together. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered. The journey begins now. I don't know what you're saying. It's on the counter. You guys were, yeah. But I'm busy. Off you go. Close the door. Oh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How are you? Really?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been really good, actually. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have made I've had a lot of like breakthroughs over the last few months, I think, and I really feel like I'm on a good path. I feel like I'm it's exciting, but it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's the long game, you know?
Okay.
And I think like looking back, um, I knew that when I thought about doing the podcast. And then I think I was resistant to it, which is why I ended up filling up my time with doing all sorts of other things, instead of actually doing this. So it's been really great. Do you know Nicole Murphy?
The name's really familiar.
You, oh, there's Annette.
Blowing in like a freight train, girls. Blowing in like a freight train.
All good. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Right? Exactly. I said to Mike, fuck, you got to finish my supper. Oh God, we're on record. Get me ready, dish me up and deliver.
It's all good.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
Woohoo!
Love it. Love, love, love. It's good to see you guys. Holy smokes.
Well, are you ladies ready for some questions?
Rapid fire. Here comes my supper. Thanks, babe. Up for each. Ah, thank you.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do is I'll ask a question and then like each of you have your time to answer and kind of do it that way. Okay. Question number 1. What would be a top tier tip you'd give to someone who is experiencing resistance to living their dream life?
I can start, I think. So I don't know how to say it right, because I think this is something that I heard over and over and over and over again in my journey in choosing to leave education, in choosing to live my better, best life. It was just do it. I must have heard it 1,000 times. Just take the leap. Just do it. And I hate that the word just is at the front of that sentence, because there's so much more to it than just. Like if it was just do it, we'd all be doing it already. However, there's something to be said for just do it. I think we create safety nets for ourselves so that we don't have to. We create boundaries so that we can't. And at the end of the day, you don't have to know how, you just have to do it. You know what you need to do. And when you're ready, you'll hear the words, just do it. And suddenly it will click and you'll just do it. It probably won't happen until you're really ready to hear it. But when you're ready, those words will make so much sense.
Love that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Good advice, Tara. Mine would be, but what if it does work out?
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, when I think about this, because often resistance comes with fear, can be fear of the unknown, maybe fear of change, but usually the bottom of it is fear of something or someone. And so people tend to want to look to that negative lens, which is what builds resistance. And so I like to just keep them in the space of, but what if it, what's it going to look like? And what if it does all work? So what's the difference? So the cost in staying where you are of resistance versus the growth of imagining that working out and that next level coming to fruition for you. So
Love that. I think we've all had a moment throughout our journeys where we noticed some resistance in getting to that place that we're looking to get to. We've, put it on paper. This is how I want to live. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And then resistance starts creeping in some way, whether it's like noticeable or not. We start to consciously or subconsciously adhere to that resistance. And so I think I think both those tips are great. What motivates you?
do you want me to start this time, Tara?
Sure.
Okay. How about for me, sorry, choking on my smoky. Truthfully, life to me is a little bit like, I feel like I'm a little bit like a detective. And so every day that I get to wake up, it is like a little exploration. And so even when things feel, I try not to use the language hard anymore because but even when things feel like there's a bit of contrast that comes in, I kind of just imagine myself gearing up like a little, detective and getting my magnifying glass on and just seeing, okay, what can I kind of uncover to keep me going? And then what are some of the exciting things, or looking at it through that positive frame? Gratitude for me is absolutely an everyday, all day long thing. And so I think when I'm looking through that lens, it makes me excited instead of, oh, right. So I think it's just, I play detective. I play detective with my clients and they're all picking up on it now. They're all like, it's almost like you're teaching us to be a detective. And like our lives are like a little exploration and we're kind of just digging around and seeing if we can get that out. And I'm like, that's it. That's exactly what we're doing. And, sometimes you dig up some stuff and it's not what you thought. And sometimes you dig on a path that you weren't expecting to go on and good things can happen. And sometimes you meet up with even more contrast. And then, so you just gotta, wipe off the old magnifying glass and look a little more.
Love that. Tara, what about you? What motivates you?
I have kind of a controversial opinion about motivation. Motivation is bullshit to me. It's fleeting. I can't rely on it. I can't count on it. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. you know, I think about my why, and sometimes that's strong enough to get me going, but other times it's not. And then I just feel bad that my why wasn't enough, and I kind of spiral. So honestly, it's a minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day making decisions, making the next right decision, the next best right thing, choosing the next best right thing. Do I get it right all the time? No, absolutely not. But then I get to make a new decision based on that last decision, and keep moving forward and keep myself going forward. So, you know, there's been times where I'm like, I'll try to like set a goal and use a reward as a motivator, and sometimes it works, and then I think, well, this is it, I've found the key to motivation, and then the next time I'll set a reward and it doesn't work, and then I'm like, well, I'm a failure. So honestly, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, and I've just sort of tried to let go of that idea that I need something to push me. I just need to make the next right best decision, and hopefully I do that more often than I make the next wrong worst decision. So pray for me.
Oh, goodness. How do you define success?
These are hard questions.
For ourselves, this is, I feel like I'm really torn. So how Tara didn't like motivation, I just feel like I honestly just feel right now. So do you want it for, how do we define it for ourselves, or how do we define it when we're working with people? Because that's two totally different arenas for me.
Interesting. Let's talk about ourselves.
Okay. That feels better. Tara, do you have an answer yet?
Sure. I think my
Okay,
definition.
hold on.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
So I want to talk about this because this stumped both of you. This is one of the shortest worded questions that I have. And both of you are like, whoa. So is it the word success, or is it the fact that you're needing to stop and think about what it means to you? Like, is it, like, is the word success poisoned in some way? Like, Tara, you were talking about motivation and you feel like it's fleeting. Is this, like, would you say that success itself is fleeting as well? Or can you define it? Do you ever feel like there is an end, quantifiable thing to success? So Annette, you're shaking your head, so I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so I think that's why I struggle, because first off, for me, it is literally individualized, and far be it from me to define it for somebody else, because I never want someone to reach my benchmark. And honestly, I look at my success every day. So I mean, I have big goals and big visions. I don't hang a success logo on whether or not I'm getting to those, because that path that leads me out to there is always changing. And so if I hung my umbrella on this is success, I really feel like myself and anyone that I worked with would spend a lot of time in disappointment. And it makes me sick to my stomach to even think like that. I want people to understand that this literally is this is my personal opinion, but this is a constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly changing. I just don't feel like there's a coat hook that you can go, when I get to hear this is success. And I push myself. If I was to hang my hat in success, I'd have been done a long time ago. What the fuck would I have been doing for the last how many, right? Like, it goes and grows it for me is an every day. I evaluate this every day. So that's why I think I'm so hung up on it, because I don't really know how I would define.
It sounds like for you, it's not so much of a tangible thing that, like you said, that you can just see it clear at the end of the path, and there it is. And once you got it, you're done, because we're not ever done.
I don't want to be done. Done is dead.
Yeah.
That's not for me. And I love that it is constantly evolving and it is constantly changing, and things are coming up all the time that cause me to make changes. And so to me, there's no universal just road that's going to lead you there. I struggle with it. I'll say to people, I think I'm very successful. I would never say I've met success. I don't know. As soon as you said the question, I literally got sick to my stomach.
You're going to get your detective magnifying glass out and you're going to look into that later, aren't you?
I don't think I have to, because I mean, to me, I don't hang myself anywhere near that word. I don't hang myself with my clients near that word. What is success for you at this moment in time? What are you looking for? But it's just not language that I use.
Right. So Tara, how would you define success? And after Annette has explained what she has to say, are you feeling like you could relate to that? Or do you feel like in your life, success is something that you can look at differently?
Yeah, I think it's a really loaded word. There's so much societal pressure on achieving this idea of success, but no one really knows what that looks like or feels like. And as a result, I feel like we're in this constant state of failure, because you're either succeeding or you're failing. There's no room for the in between, but like all of life is the in between. Like, you're constantly setting goals and achieving goals and moving forward and changing your financial position and changing your, helping your kids grow. And there's a lot of successes along the way. Not all of those are necessarily acknowledged in the societal definition of success. Therefore, we don't put the value on those successes that should be on those successes. And in turn, we just feel this constant sense of trying to do more and get more and be more, and never really arriving at this place that no one can actually define. So I feel the same, in that I really struggle with the definition and the word. I've been successful at a lot of things. I've completely failed at a lot of things. None of that really impacts my value in the world. So to define it, I think maybe we need to redefine it as a society, and maybe it can be sort of more of a mindset. I have achieved success because I feel great. I'm moving forward. I'm doing things. I'm creating things. I'm being things. And that's success, instead of here's this imaginary line we're all trying to reach, and anything below that means failure.
Love it.
I got to interject.
Yeah.
I just one note. So Tara, I wrote things when you were writing, by whose measure? Is success creating comparing? These are all the things I just so dislike in life. And what this is doing in that realm is creating a lack of gratitude for where you are in this moment today. So to me, it all associates to negativity.
Yeah,
And I'm
gratitude
with
and
you.
openness, like openness to the journey. Like you could,
Totally.
because the journey equals failure, and that's not real. It's really similar to like the body image issues, and like we're supposed to be at this ideal weight, height, waist. Like, A, who got to decide that? And B, anything other than that means you're gross. Like, why why is that real?
Mhm.
You know, like it's similar.
And
Terrible.
I think too that it almost stunts individuality to the capacity to think about what you want for your own success, because we get in this comparison game, because we put up that measure. And I don't say we as me, because I couldn't give a flying about what anybody else is doing. I really do look at success for myself, and that's what I strongly encourage my clients to do. But just as an example, I had a client say to me, Annette, you talk about a mediocre life. And she said, I just, what happens if I'm okay with a mediocre life? And I said, well, that's a very interesting comment. Can you explain that? And she said, you're traveling, you guys are, you're doing all these things. I'm watching you do all this. And she said, I have no interest in any of that. I want to retire and have a big garden and grow and go for a walk to my cabin and just hang out. And I'm like, so is that what you want from your life? And she said, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And I said, so how is that mediocre? See, mediocre to me means you're making sacrifices along the way to live a life that you don't really want to live. That showed me you're using external elements, external people's lives, to try to make a measurement for yourself. And that's why I just struggle so much, because we have been so conditioned. And I know I keep preaching about through social media and all the things, but we really have. We've been so conditioned to compare ourselves and measure ourselves to what everybody else is doing. Whereas if we stop worrying about what the other people are doing and just sit with yourself and ask yourself, am I sitting in success for what I wanted to do today? Am I sitting in success for being on the path to going or growing in the way that I want to today? And stop looking at what everybody else is around you is doing. Who cares? So I think that's why it feels just so icky to me, is just because exactly what Tara said was that it's, it's a measurement, it's a societal, it's a stereotype of, oh, you got to earn $1 million a month to be successful. Bullshit. You got to earn the life you want to live. And as long as you're living that life, that to me is successful.
Yeah.
I love that. So it's interesting that like that word can bring up so much for people. See, when I wrote this question, how do you define success? My definition of success is, am I living a life on my terms?
Mhm.
That for me is my success. So if I'm showing up every day and I'm able to live a life on my terms of what that looks like for me, then that to me is that's my definition of success for me. And I didn't even think, when I even wrote this question, I didn't even think about society's definition of success. It was just the individual and where we come from. But I do understand that society conditions us to have these definitions based on context of other things around us all at the same time. So this is why I wanted to do this this group meeting because I love that there's different perspectives for everything and everybody has a different answer, and something so simple like that, the shortest question that I have, and it has brought up so much fire. So I love that. Do you both feel complete with that question? Are we ready to move on?
I did just want to add that it connects back to that first question of like that resistance to live your life essentially on your terms or your best life. That definition of success often stands in people's way. And I know in my experience, that was definitely a contributing factor. I was a mature teacher. I was making lots of money. I had summers off. I had a pension. How could you walk away? Because that was a definition of success. I'd made it. But in me and in my heart, I was very broken. Nobody saw that but me. So for some people, that is definitely playing into their resistance. Yeah.
Love that connection, Tara.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay. What is collaboration to you?
I could start because this has really dramatically changed for me in the last couple of months. I thought that collaboration meant being open to other people's thoughts and ideas about your work or your behavior or your really anything, just being open to hearing, taking it in, taking the pieces that apply or that make sense to you and using them and then moving forward with your thing. And recently I had the opportunity to actually from scratch build something new with other people, alongside other people. And it was an entirely different experience. I didn't do very well in it. But I did learn a lot from it because building something with someone else who may have a completely different vision, who may have a completely different experience, thoughts, ideas, coming together and building something together is so much different than creating something and taking people's thoughts and feelings about it, and it's still yours. And I've had to like open myself up completely in a way that was uncomfortable, but ultimately really good for me. Completely. And there, like, it wasn't without the tears or the name calling. There was some growing pains, but there was growth. I don't know. I think as a teacher, you're on an island, and as much as you like say you work with others and you work well with others, it's more of like, here, use this, I liked it. Here, use this, I liked it. Can I have that? I like it. Which is a different version of, I don't want to say it's not collaboration, it's just a different version than actually creating something with someone.
Okay, after you just said that, I can even more clearly understand why you had that sort of outlook on what collaboration was before versus now. Yeah. What about you, Annette?
Mine's more broad spectrum, truthfully. So mine is anywhere from a coffee shop conversation to a business partnership. So to me, it's reciprocal between two or more people, parties, businesses. And it is literally just generating ideas between each of the parties. And kind of what Tara was saying before is like, Some you want to take, some you don't want to take, some you want to use, some you don't want to use. Obviously, if it is something like building something up, then, you know, you have to have a come together. But in the collaborations that I do, whether it's personally or professionally, at the end of the day, mostly my stuff is still me generated. And so my collaborations look like having conversations, gaining insights, gaining ideas, being able to bounce things off of someone. And yet gathering that information, but then going back and being able to decide what of that do I want to carry forward, and being able to offer that for somebody else. So mine is quite a bit more broad spectrum. Maybe that's why I don't do well with having business partners, you know, just things like that. Just might throw that out there. But yeah, I honestly, I don't know if there's anything I've ever built from the ground up with someone else. I never say, like, I gotta tell you right now, the term that drives me effing bonkers is self-made whatever. No one is self-made anything. So to me, there's always someone along your path that's influenced you in some way, shape, or form. And that to me is what collaboration is. So I don't believe in self-made humans.
So it sounds like we're constantly collaborating, like on a daily basis. There's some, whether it's acknowledged by another party or not, we're utilizing something, or influenced by or inspired by, and therefore that is a form of collaboration.
That's it for me. I just spent 8 hours in our RV park office. I collaborated all day long. You know, I am influencing what they're doing on their trip. They're influencing me as a business owner. That's collaboration. I'm in it every day, all day long. That's why I say it's from a coffee shop to, you know, I'm sitting tonight and me and Mike are having conversations about business stuff. We're collaborating on, you know, next steps, all those big things. But I feel like that, I mean, collaboration and relationship building seem very similar to me.
I like that. Relationship building is definitely a huge part, I feel, of collaborations as well, because when you're working with other people, and you're not in control of how they're choosing to show up. So there is a constant, you know, back and forth with collaborations. And even I will also add to this too, like even parenting is a form of collaboration when you're dealing with your children. You know, it's like, sorry, my dog. Somebody opened my door. My dog just snuck in here. I thought she was going to do the full like leap up on the bed thing that she normally likes to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, do you both feel complete with that answer?
Yep. I'm good.
Tara, do you feel complete with the collaboration question?
I do, yes.
Okay. My next question is, what self-development book or course would you gift to somebody? Like you feel it is the ultimate of books or courses, and if you could, you would you do the Oprah thing. You get one and you get one and you get one and you get one.
Mine's easy. So do you want me to go first, Tara? 100% Jack Canfield, The Success Principles. That is a Bible for personal development.
Can you say that one more time, just a titch bit slower?
Okay, I said 100% hands down, Jack Canfield's The Success Principles. So for me, that is just a absolute Bible for personal development. Love the book. did all of his trainings, 100% recommend it.
Awesome. Tara, what about you?
This is actually a really tough question. I think part of my problem is that like I think you have to be in the right space and place for anything. And then I kind of think that anything will work if you're in the right space and place for it. Like, there's so many good things. Our time with Ashley was amazing. Like, it pushed me to levels I didn't even know I wanted to go to. And then financially, I couldn't continue that journey. But also emotionally, I just wasn't there anymore. But she's magical. Like, she's amazing at what she does. You know, Aaron Sky Kelly and Achievement Club was like life changing for me. I think it brought me out of my shell in a way that I really desperately needed. It helped me find a voice that I didn't know was as loud as it was, and gave it a platform to live on. So that was incredible for me. I've been in Aaron's Get the Hell Out of Debt program for 18 years, I think, and I've just now started to work the program. And again, it's magic because I'm ready, because I've arrived at that place where now is the time. So I think there's so many good resources. I don't know if I could pinpoint one that has like been the one that I would gift to everyone. I would just gift everyone all the money to find their thing. And whatever you're in the zone for, it'll work because you'll make it work. Did
Love
I like
that.
entirely avoid the question and not actually answer it?
It's okay though, because it's interesting. I actually have been reading a book, and I probably sound like a complete broken record to a lot of people lately, because I'm constantly saying, well, in the book, in this book, oh my gosh, you know, and it's really played such a huge part in everything that I have been going through over the last few months. And it's the 15 commitments of conscious leadership. I think I said that right. And it's got like a lot of stuff in there, and it really is like, could relate to, I mean, it's kind of written like for business, but every time I read it, I'm using all sorts of different scenarios of my own personal life and everything. Anyways, that's the one that I would pick, just because I think that it would benefit anybody at any stage of their life. Like, I think it should be given out in high schools, like, and part of a curriculum of some kind. Like, you only get credits if you read this book. I don't know. It's incredible. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the ones that lately, and of course, like, I too, well, what I was going to say is, I also thought about that. There are lots of people, and this is how that question came up, actually, is because I thought to myself, oh, I just want to gift this book to everybody. Like, I wish I could just gift it and give it to everybody. But I had to sit with that, because then I thought to myself, well, I could gift it. Sure, I could gift it to anybody and everybody. However, would they be ready to sit down and read it? Like, that is kind of where, so I can understand that sort of initial, yes, I know the one, because I'm there too. And I also can understand, Tara, your answer about, you know, how all these different things, all these like courses and programs and masterminds that we choose to do along the way, they serve their purpose when we choose to show up and be committed and do the work.
I agree, Tara. I think like what you said makes a lot of sense. I'm more like you though, Meg. Like I said that when I read the Success Principles. I'm like, every school student should read this because there are some pretty basic things in there that if you make just those little changes. So one of the things that, have either of you read the book? No. Okay. Maybe I'll have to mail you them. I go to the used bookstore and I just buy them. Every time they come on a shelf, I buy it. Like, I love the book. Love it.
Sorry, but love this idea. So now I have to go to the used bookstores and I'm going to hoard all the books I want to give to people.
Yeah, I do that. I've got a box sitting over there. I literally do that. Everywhere. And the other one that I always gift people is The Wealthy Barber. I love that book as well. But anyway, with the Success Principles, yeah, I just feel like it doesn't matter where you are, but in there, he says something that when people say they never have time or they can't do things or whatever, he talks about, can you free up 1 hour a day? And I know we've all heard this story before. But I actually used it when I was teaching CLC 12. But when you free up 1 hour a day over the course of a year, you've now gifted yourself 9 weeks of time. And if that doesn't change your life and make you want to try to find that hour a day, whether that's working on your business, working on your health, whatever it is that you need to allocate, 1 hour a day in 9 weeks, you can create or do or be or have a lot. So it's just very understandable by any level. And there's something in there that will hit no matter where you are. So I agree with you, Tara. I think when I think more like what you're saying, like programs, 100%. But to me, the Success Principles is a book that it doesn't matter where you are in your life. Well, I mean, there would be some exceptions to that, but I honestly think pretty much anybody could pick that up, read it, and get something from it.
It's on my list.
I have to fill out a questionnaire for a second.
Mine literally, I'm just looking to see, it's usually packed around with me. You guys, it's full of sticky notes. The cover is just like mutilated. I don't even think I see it. There it is. It's all war. My wording's all war. Everything is sticky notes. It's such a good book. It literally is like a Bible.
Amazing.
Never fails. Do not disturb Mom. She's going in her room. I'm pretty sure they have poked their heads in here 6 times. Okay. Those were my 5 questions. Those were my 5 main questions. So, and again, close the door, please. 5 main questions. So the questions, I'm just going to go back, and if you guys have anything that you want to add. So question number 1 was a top tier tip you give to someone who is experiencing resistance to living their dream life. Does anyone have anything to add to that one? What motivates you? This kind of stuff right here. This is what motivates me.
I'm with you. Like masterminds, anything, when you're, collaborations.
exactly, right? So even going back to like my tip, would be getting community around you to support and help you. And whether that is, you know, in person, if you have different business groups, whatever that looks like, or yeah, doing a huge leap and going out and finding a conference or a summit or something that is in line with what your dream life would look like. So yeah, and this kind of stuff, this motivates me for sure. And defining success to me, being here, showing up with you ladies right now, for me, this is all part of that. It's all part of that for me. And collaboration, as Annette, you just also mentioned, this is collaboration, and I love collaborating with people. I love, of course, having those things that I build and design and create and all that kind of stuff, and have more control over it. However, I also love collaborating with people. And self-development book, well, or course. The book, The 15 Commitments, it's something that I started reading because of a course that I decided to sign myself up for. And the emphasis in this program is not just on business, it's on self-development. And it's like this like hybrid program that I've never even read of or heard of or anything. So this type of program has been incredible, and it's part of the reason why I was able to invite you ladies here today for this panel of questions. And do you have any closing things to say?
I think you covered everything. They were really great, thought-provoking and discussion-inducing questions. Yeah, and probably 6 months from now, if we revisit them, my answers will likely change. For every stage of life, there's a new perspective and a new mindset and new ways of thinking. So yeah, I think it was just really great to be on here and visiting with you ladies, because it just feels like we're visiting. But these are the kinds of conversations that, yeah, I don't know if they motivate me, but they light me up and they make me happy and they fill my cup. And yeah, I'm excited to have them.
I love that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. It's definitely thought provoking for sure. So, you know, even just thinking about the questions that kind of lit that fire, right? And it's like, some journaling around something like that, right? Just to kind of go like, what is there? You start that talking it out, but you know, doing the reflection at the end of the day and kind of just think about, okay, what was it that kind of lit that up? Or, you know, how to dig a little deeper. And I agree with you, Tara, like these questions 6 months ago, our lenses would have looked very different. And 6 months from now or a year from now, they're going to look different again. It's seasons of life, but I think it's also how much work we're doing on ourselves creates a completely different response. So I think a completely different way to manage yourself in circumstance.
So meeting here in 6 months from now?
That's great.
Sounds good to me.
I'll have different questions.
And it's so good to see you guys.
Yes. Well, thank you both for taking the time out of your schedules to do this and meet with me. I was also thinking it would be super cool to meet with you each individually and do like my more traditional podcast questions and have that too, if you guys are open for it. Annette, I know you've filled out my form and you're probably just waiting for me to send you my calendar for that.
Listen, it's all in the right time. That's how I run my life.
For sure. And that's exactly what I've learned so much over this last little while as well. It's like, yeah, totally.
You can't rush living.
You can't rush living, especially if you are doing the work, because you can't rush the work either. And that's what I'm learning. And I'm learning to live like a lot more presently and saying no to things, but really saying yes to things that push me in a way that I wouldn't have otherwise agreed to before in the past 6 months ago, you know?
Right? I have Mike gifted me quite a long time ago something, and I think that this is very fitting for this conversation, and that is enjoy the journey that you're on and not just the destination that you reach. And that is significant. That's made a huge change, and that's that present moment living.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I had a it goes back to this idea that I had a few years ago now, and it was just more about there's no real destination for me. It's more of like just following my true north. Like I drew a picture of a compass and I just was thinking about it. And I just thought, yeah, okay, well, as long as I'm just always following whatever my true north feels like to me internally and in alignment, then that's where I'm going. That's the path. There's no real end destination, just like there is no end like tangible thing to define success. So that's kind of what made me think about how I look at success now, because I don't see like an end to anything. It just is how we feel internally, the alignment and all that kind of stuff.
Love it.
Yay. Well, thanks again. So yeah, thank you again so much. And then I'll be in touch with scheduling a separate solo podcast, but I think it'd be kind of fun to have something with both of you and then do like follow-ups individually. I think that'd be kind of cool. So
Yeah,
if you're game,
sign me up.
Okay.
Yep, ready.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining this week's episode of Anchor Your Dreams. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. A big thank you to our incredible guest for sharing their wisdom and insights. If you resonated with today's episode and want to explore more about turning your dreams into reality, be sure to subscribe to the podcast. We have a lineup of amazing guests and valuable content coming your way. Don't forget to connect with us on social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Share your thoughts, insights, and your own journey using the hashtag #AnchorYourDreams. Head over to our website at meghanmcquillan.com in the podcast section, where you'll find the show notes, resources, and information about upcoming episodes. Before we wrap up, I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you. Your support means the world to me, and I'm thrilled to be on this journey with you. Remember, anchored dreams become goals. Anchored goals become results. Until next time, dream big and stay anchored.